Hello, hello, and welcome to our little chat about the untamed woman and about being a woman and about being a woman in our feminine force. And I feel I couldn't have any better woman to talk about it like you, Mia, because I know that you're also a force of nature. And yeah, I'm also super, super happy that you will support me at the Untamed Woman retreat. And we were actually already talking a lot before we started the recording. So now I want to bring it up again. And maybe you just want to introduce yourself a bit and also share, like, what does it mean for you to be an untamed woman? As we can all have different perceptions about what it means.
Yes, so hello everyone. My name is Mia Renwall and I'm from Helsinki, Finland. I work with healing intimacy. And what I mean with this is like I create spaces for couples, individuals, be it single or in relationships, to find deeper connection. So I'm combining authentic relating tools or different kinds of communication modalities like nonviolent communication with Tantra. And then we work on relating and intimacy and how to be more clear and how to be more authentic and how to be more expressive. And I'm also a vocal coach. So, how it started for me is that I'm a singer and an actress. So, when I was younger already, I've been like super expressive and always on stage and singing and shouting and screaming and playing and jumping. So fortunately for me, like I was never that toned down as a child. Like I was allowed to be loud. We were singing at home, we were playing the piano hours and hours on end with my sister and learning to harmonize. And then it became my profession. And then around 2012, I found Tantra with a past partner. And then I started to combine the voice and also the pleasure. So how to kind of relax and release into lovemaking through also like raw expression. So I've always been quite a free soul, but I imagine the past 5 years, it's like after turning 40, really, like it's been like, who am I? Like this is who I am. I'm not gonna hide myself. I'm not gonna change myself. And I'm not going to mask myself. And it's been a huge journey because I also have ADHD and a small sprinkle of some kind of autism, I imagine. And this has been a really big journey of self-acceptance, but also unmasking all of the
Mm.
pretense of trying to be normal or somehow, tone down so that I wouldn't be perceived as too intense or too energetic or something like this. It has been super freeing. So that has been happening now for the past 5 years. And it's been both a spiritual journey and also just like a sexual journey and a tantric journey, but also just a liberation of trying to conform into society or like be something that I'm not. And so then when you're pondering, what am I not? Then you're coming to like, who am I? And
Mm.
that's quite a big question. But what is being untamed for you then, Jana? What is it for you personally?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm a bit the opposite like you. So I was completely suppressed when I was a teenager. Like I had an eating disorder, I had bulimia. So I think this is already like quite connected with a lot of shame when you like, yeah, vomit out your food. It's like I didn't want that anybody knows this. And also like this whole journey around my body, like there was simply so much shame as far as I can remember. I think since I was almost like maybe 9 years old even. I was like touching my belly and like, ooh, what's here? And yeah, so it started with shame all my life. And then this eating disorder and my sexuality, I was just completely suppressed. I was thinking, I'm not a sexual woman, I'm not a sexual being. I mean, I was numbing myself with sex with men when I was younger because I didn't feel myself. I felt empty inside. I think this is also something, yeah, like a deep wound of what I learned as a woman. It's like I'm not full inside. I need a man to complete me. This is what I learned. Like what I get taught by my parents. You need a man. You should get a man, you know? And yeah, so I was completely suppressed. Like I didn't know what pleasure was. I didn't even know this word maybe until 8 years ago or something. So yeah, this whole journey of like being an untamed woman like means for me personally to reclaim all the parts inside myself which have been shamed and tamed in the past. And for me personally, it was my sexuality, my pleasure, my sensuality, my rage, and my voice, which is a big thing because I was this typical good girl who would smile everything away and who would accommodate everybody, especially men. And yeah, and then for me, that's a reclamation. And also to be an untamed woman means for me personally to break out of this box of how I am supposed to be as a woman. And I'm very curious soon to hear your opinion about it because there is this full feminine embodiment movement and polarity movement, which I really like. But I feel there is this danger that as a woman, you should only be now soft and open and surrendered. But no, I feel we should live this full range and also yeah, to have integrated our inner masculine and also the parts inside of us which are maybe not the typical feminine stereotype. And for me, an untamed woman is to be an untamed woman is for me to give myself permission to live all of myself.
Exactly. I agree. Because if you think about like coming from my culture, like ancient Viking
Hmm.
warriors, they were both women, men, all genders, really, in different kinds of cultures. There hasn't been one expression ever for any of the genders. Like,
Yes.
so there is this kind of Kali-like, energy, like this kind of fierce, chaotic almost like energy also in women. And most women suppress it quite a lot.
Yes.
And for me, my path took me like after acting school to gestalt therapy and punching pillows and like getting all because even if I had acceptance to be myself, I also was juggling with weight and being bullied in school because of my neurodiversity and stuff like this. So I recognized this part of like shame, but then somehow like this acting and being visible was healing that because there was some kind of like
Mm.
my voice and something that I was doing was always kind of giving meaning to who I am. But that's also like that was also a wounding factor in itself. So I had to kind of find from this actor persona, like who am I really behind all these roles, all these masks, and being a nice girl or good girl or sexy woman or temptress or whatever. There are so many different roles you can go into.
Yes.
But who are we as women when we scratch all that? When we scratch all that bullshit of, what magazines or movies or even love songs is trying to portray on us? What are we when we're really authentically us? Like when we're alive, when we're allowing ourselves to be fierce, you know? And that is what I'm going towards and have been going towards for a long time now. And that's what I see in you. And that's what I see when we come together and when we met and we're like, "Ah," you know?
Yes.
And so that's what I want to give to the world as well, like through this and through supporting you at this Untamed Woman retreat, that we really find what I'm gonna bring is like just like how to activate your voice, be free in being heard, and expression and intimacy and softness and grounding and co-regulation
Yes.
and all of this. So I'm so happy to be there supporting you and like also talking about this theme because this is very relevant for us as well right now.
Exactly. And I'm
Mm.
very curious because last week we already had our call. I'm a bit sad we didn't record it because we really dropped good stuff. Um, but also you said, yeah, finding your voice as a woman and finding, your ground. And I'm very curious to ask you, like, how do you perceive to be an untamed woman? Because it's easy to be untamed in our room alone. But how do you perceive this, for example, in relationships? And what are maybe your challenges or things you are going through, like being an untamed woman in relationships with others, with a partner, a lover? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Like I noticed that when I'm single or when I'm completely, I don't have to think about anybody else or like nobody else's needs than mine are my biggest priority. Uh, then there is like a lot of freedom, a lot of authenticity to just choose which workshops I go to, what I do, and like where I don't go and where I go. So I can really easily connect to what I want in that time. And personally, I'm quite ambiamorous. So people can be monogamous, polyamorous, or ambiamorous, where, you
Mm,
know, if they meet someone that wants to be monogamous with them, you can be monogamous. If someone is more open, you can be more open. So I have quite a lot of flexibility in my range. But what I'm noticing is, or what I've been pondering about is that how do you deal with it as an untamed woman or as a quite wild woman as I am, like to stay authentic, stay real, and stay true to your needs while you're shifting into a monogamous relationship. And I think this is quite big in the tantric field in
mm,
general, right? So there are many people, regardless of a gender, that are longing for a committed, long-term relationship, be it polyamorous, ethically non-monogamous, or monogamous. But how do you shift, and um, how do you claim that pleasure, and also how does a man claim his woman without being
mm,
controlling or scared or jealous? So like there are these like very subtle energy shifts. Like how can you allow your woman to be her wild self and kind of being awe of it and go like, wow, I have a partner like this? Because what I've noticed is that in the beginning, people might be really like, whoa, it's super cool to be with this kind of person. But then if you get afraid, you might start to dim the light of the other person. So ask, can you stop doing this? Can you not do this? Can you not do that? You know? So where are the boundaries? And this is what I'm really like finding now. How does this feel for you? Does it relate for you? And how does it work for you in relationships? And what have you noticed that are the topics that are the most difficult?
I can, yeah, already relate to a lot what you said. Um, because I think I'm living kind of like this paradox, or a lot of people are surprised that when I tell them I'm currently in a monogamous relationship. So, yeah, my relationship container is closed and we're not engaged sexually with any other people. And we have quite strict boundaries around it because we're choosing it. And yeah, this year I actually discovered like one of my biggest shadows because in May I had like a 3 week breakup with my partner. And I realized actually the last month before the breakup, the last couple of months, I noticed I was like feeling more drained and more just losing my radiance and not being in my full power because I know I have exactly this thing as you. When I'm single, I'm just vibrating. I'm just just like vibrating it out, super, yeah. And in past relationships, I always would be shamed by partners after a while for my free expression, or I would started to shrink myself and tone myself down in order to keep the connection. And in my current relationship, which is not where I don't get suppressed, but I started to abandon, like through my own woundings, I started to tone myself down or not to speak my truth. Even if I get encouraged by my partner to do this, I didn't do it. And I was like, because I was afraid to lose the connection. And this 3 week breakup was actually my portal to really discover a very, very deep wounding inside myself and of the feminine. I discovered it on a training when I was on a training, and it was about connecting with our primal power and our rage and feeling our muscles. There was like one exercise. And suddenly I was like standing there and I felt like a part of me becoming alive, which has been asleep for many months. And this is like this part inside myself, like which is like setting boundaries, like which is like fierce and firm, but also in love. And I noticed this deep wounding inside myself that I never learned in my life how to speak up to a man, not against a man, but to a man to say, hey, no, this is not okay. Like, hey, but still be in love, like still to use my voice to speak up, to set my boundaries, to not shrink in front of a man, but without shutting down, like with being in love. And this was like a big eye opener for me to feel like, ooh, how much I have been taming myself in subtle ways. I mean, yeah, from the outside, I'm a liberated woman. I know how to express myself. I know how to activate my erotic energy, but there is a deeper layer to be an untamed woman. And this is really to use my voice in this world and to have a stand and to speak up, to speak unapologetically the truth, even if at risk to lose everything. And what I'm currently, the question is like how I experienced it in relationships. It's always a constant dance for me, for us in a relationship. But what I'm recently noticing is that I notice like my ability more and more to speak my truth to my man, even if I'm risking to lose the connection. Like there were now several situations where I really spoke up at risk of losing the relationship. And I have to say, the more I'm owning my power, I'm standing in my power without shrinking. I personally make the experience that it actually allows both of us to rise and that I feel much more seen and much more like, okay, yes, um, than before. And my experience is of course, it depends who you are with, but actually it benefits the relationship because of course, you would need to have a partner who's also willing to look at his shit. um, but it allows both of us to rise because this is also the feminine. Like for me, it's like this cutting through and being unapologetically in truth. And yeah,
Yeah, I agree. And we've been conditioned to actually be afraid. The whole patriarchy has, like, through all the sins, and there's been so much shaming and taming, and this feeling of I'm gonna be burned on the stake for this,
yes,
or like I'm gonna be tortured for this, or there were torture devices centuries ago where we were like put iron masks on women, or like clenching the mouth together.
yes,
And nowadays it's not like that physical, and we're not tortured physically maybe, but we might be tortured emotionally, not to say or not to speak. And it's through fear. And if we come to a space with our self-confidence that, hey, it's okay, I can lose all of it. I can lose this relationship, or like, and it's not that sense of I don't care. It's not
yeah,
that. It's more of I love you and I love myself. I
Yes.
love you and I want to be authentic. I want to be in this relationship and I don't want to change myself in order to be loved by you. Like, can
Yeah.
you love me as I am, like as big as I am, as intense as
Yes.
I am, as much as I feel. And as you said, the key is to have a partner like that. And now, like, we're all called to rise together and grow and heal this wounding.
Yes.
And it's really the only way is authenticity and honesty and to move through those emotions. And it can feel really draining and really tiring at
Yes.
times.
Yes.
And yeah, but if you have a partner that's supportive and wanting to be with you in it and authentically grow with you, it's beautiful. It is intense and it's tiring and it might distract you so that it's hard to concentrate on what you're on your work or what you're doing, but it's worth it because I think this is the essence of why we're here also as a humanity, to really learn how to claim our spiritual growth, really.
Exactly.
Mm.
And also what you shared also concerning this relationship, like for me personally, and I'm also curious to hear your opinion, like to be an untamed, liberated woman and also a sexually liberated woman. For me, this doesn't mean that I have to be open relating now or have many partners or spread my sexual energy everywhere. It's actually the opposite. It's like to be so in my power of choice that we can choose what we want and that we can feel so whole within ourselves that we can choose, do I want to be monogamous? Do I want to be in celibacy? Do I want to have many lovers? And that there's like nothing right or wrong. And maybe there are periods in life, but just to feel like I am whole inside myself. I don't need to prove anything. I don't follow any social pressure. I am making my choices, no matter what others think.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's beautiful. Beautifully said. Uh, I've been also in my life, I've been many things. And the spectrum of sexuality can change so much throughout your life. And it's okay that it changes and it's okay that it evolves. It's okay that you kind of explore being bisexual or pansexual or polyamorous or open or go for it. Like, if you want to explore things like that, explore it. But also, we don't have to limit ourselves to that, label for our whole life. It might become a personality thing. It might be that I'm always labeling myself as pansexual. And even if I'm pansexual, it doesn't mean that I will be, cheating on my person if I'm in a monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, misconceptions and a lot of, stories and a lot of just shaming phobias also like
Yeah.
panphobia, biphobia, even in the queer community. And then just like finding yourself with all of this and going like, well, who am I really? And do I need to label myself? So the thing that is I think helpful for me is to really just zone in and go like authentically, what do I want more of in my life right now? What
Mm.
do I want to be right now? Even if I've been, something in my 20s or 30s, who am I now? And that is a question that you can always keep asking yourself. Who am I and what do I want more of in my relationship? If it's
Mm.
more security, if it's more, you know, feeling chosen and claimed and being a priority, you can go towards monogamy. If it's more freedom, it's more about basic needs really. And as you said, being an untamed woman is that there is choice.
Yes.
I choose you, or I choose to be monogamous. I choose, you know, to go there. And if I choose that, I might choose away something else, like going to certain events or something like this. But it's a choice and it's your choice.
Exactly.
And
And I
it's
think,
also a choice that can't be pressured on you or controlled or something like this. It needs to come from within you. And if you're noticing that you're having kind of second guessing thoughts that I don't know, maybe I would rather be doing this, or maybe I would want to go, maybe like for instance to a play night or a tantric temple, but your partner is saying like I'm not agreeing with that, or I don't want that, then are you changing yourself just to not be abandoned? Is your wound of abandonment coming,
mm,
in the way? What would happen if you would say like, "Hey, I want to be with you and I want to do this?"
yeah, that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is what you share. Like, this is such an essential part that we can like really find this like safety within ourselves, within our bodies, like and build this capacity to really speak up, to speak, to speak what is truly alive and how can I stop pleasing or just accommodating or toning down my desires because yeah, what you said, like, what do I want to invite more of? And I think this is also how we thrive, like living by our desires and giving ourselves permission to want things and to, yeah, to have it all. And of course, then negotiating, like, how is this working with my relationships from the outside? And I'm also, yeah, very curious, maybe for the last part of this talk. Like, what advice would you give women who are maybe on this journey of reclaiming their pleasure and reclaiming their sexuality? Because I know that you're also, yeah, you have a lot of personal and professional experience. Like, what is your free advice you would give any woman who's on the journey of reclaiming her sexuality?
I would say that the journey towards a free sexuality is learning to know your body, like any kind of embodiment practice. And now I'm not meaning any kind of rigid yoga structure because like that might or might not work for everyone. Like for me, certainly it didn't. Like for me, it needs to be a little bit messy. It needs to be like raw, authentic movement, like five rhythms or ecstatic dance or just like authentic movement, like moving your body, finding your connection to your yoni, to your genitals, basically exploring yourself. If you don't know yourself and if you don't masturbate, if you, I mean, the crystal wands and yoni eggs, those are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tools. There we have one. But yeah, so like for me, any kind of embodiment practice that you can also do by yourself or with other sisters, like that has been really powerful for me to reclaim my connection to my body. And that, as you said at some point, like the sexuality of a woman is not dependent on your partner. Like you don't have to have a partner, be it a female or a male partner or any gender really. Like it doesn't depend on them. Like find your own, claim your own pleasure and learn to know how your body works and open up and surrender to the pleasure with yourself. And that's the gateway to also then know what to say to the other person when it comes to how you want to be loved or touched.
Hmm, I like that. Thank you. And this is also something what we will do actually a lot in the Untamed Woman retreat. Like, yeah, getting to know your body, like stepping into sovereignty, like learning that you are your source of pleasure and life force. And think there can also be a lot of shame around not feeling empowered, sexually empowered. I know this from myself that I felt a lot of shame because I didn't know my body, or when men would ask me how you would like to be touched, I didn't know what to say. So there was also a lot of shame around this to admit that, actually, I don't know myself this well, and I don't know where to start, and I don't know how to ask for things. And yeah, in the retreat, you will get a lot of tools and practices. And I think it's also important to be super, like to invite really also compassion. like that there's also that we shouldn't reclaim ourselves or reclaim our sexuality because we think that there is something wrong with us or that we need to be fixed or to fall in the trap. We need to do it to attract more men. I think it's very important that we like claim this as a very personal journey and also to invite this messiness and confusion like, oh, I don't know where to start and I feel a bit, yeah, that's why we're creating the spaces we are creating because that's or at least I can say this is something I would have wished for when I started this journey. And yeah, sexuality and pleasure, it's only for ourselves. And I feel it should come from the attitude of curiosity and not like, oh, there's something wrong. I need to fix it.
Yeah, and ultimately, sexual energy is life force. So when you are circulating sexual energy within yourself and you learn to tap into that power, it gives you so much energy and so much vitality in this world. So it's a superpower that you can claim. So that's
Yes.
beautiful. Looking
Yeah.
forward.
Yes. Okay. Ah,
So see you
yeah.
soon, all of you, at the Untamed Woman retreat. And
Yes.
I'm looking forward to see you in person also, Jana, soon.
Yeah, and I'm very, very happy to have you at the retreat, Mia, because I know, yeah, I know you personally. We are friends. I know your energy. I know how you hold space, and yeah, this is just so, so enriching. And I will slowly end this recording now, and we will see us in October, probably.
See you there.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.